This morning at a little after 10 o'clock, the Nissan behind me was stopped at this light here at Cunningham and West Little York. They were headed eastbound. They were stopped at a red light. The tow truck was towing another vehicle and was headed eastbound as well at what we believe is a very high rate of speed. We see no indication that there was any braking prior to impact. He ran into the back of that Nissan, drove them a number of feet into the ditch here, and tragically there was a 4-month-old or an infant, 4 to 7 months old, in the back seat of that car, and was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased. The tow truck driver stayed at the scene. He's been interviewed by the deputies. I've accepted a charge of manslaughter on him today. He was taken into custody here at the scene. He's being transported to the Joint Processing Center, where he's going to go through the same evaluation that we do with every crash. We don't believe at this time intoxication played a role, but we're going to rule that out before we move on with the investigation. But a charge of manslaughter has already been accepted on him, and so we're going to wait for probable cause hearing, and then he'll have a court date at some point this week.
So the silver car was stopped?
That's correct. The Nissan, the silver car directly behind me, was at a complete stop here at a stale red light, meaning the red light had been red for quite a while. The tow truck just disregarded the traffic control device, the red light, and ran directly into the back of the Nissan. Yeah, and when you look at this scene that we're out here on, the traffic was not heavy, and it's not. There's no obstructed vision. This is a wide open road, which sadly is probably the reason that the vehicle was traveling so fast at the beginning. There's not a lot of traffic, wide open, and when you drive like that with a complete disregard for anyone else around you, things like this happen. We see this all too often. When you're talking about a little infant, a baby who hasn't even had a chance to really see the world yet, and he's taken from his family, it certainly adds another level to an investigation like this. We see things like this way too often, and we all stand around and look at the aftermath of one person's selfish and reckless acts, and it becomes pretty difficult.
So the gentleman who was right here, that car, that was
That's correct. That was the tow truck driver, and he is not injured. He was not transported from the scene. He reported no injuries, well, obviously everyone else in that car was transported. So we're waiting. There may be additional charges that come out of this for aggravated assault as we get the medical records, as we talk to the doctors, to really determine what injuries anyone else in that car sustained. But this is the very beginning of this case. We're going to look at everything. We're going to forensically download the tow truck. We're going to actually see how fast he was going. We've got to then put that together, and the Sheriff's Department reconstruction team and their whole vehicular crimes division is really among the best in the entire state, if not the country. So we rely so much on them for the evidence that we're going to have to get to further prosecute this case, and we work hand in hand just about every day. So we're going to wait and see what they finally determine as to the speed and things like that, and the injuries, before we decide on any other charges.
So he was towing a car and going that fast?
That's what the evidence shows us right now. Yes.
And I don't know if you said this already. How many people were injured?
So we don't really know. There were either 2 or 3 people in the car, but as you can imagine, especially when you talk about a little one like that, everyone got transported so quickly that we're now going to go to the hospital. We're going to assess and see everyone who was in the car, as opposed to family members that were able to get here very quickly, and we just don't know right now who else was in the car. We know for certain that the mother was in the car. We know for certain that the little boy was in the car, and until we get a full handle on it, that's why we're going to withhold charges as to whether or not this defendant's going to face another aggravated assault, 2 more aggravated assaults, but right now he's charged with manslaughter for the death of the infant.